we are about to chat about our monthly vision talk. My good friend Theresa McMordie sitting across from me in the studio. Let me put the right microphone on for her. And as you all know, on the second Monday of every month, we talk about Vision Bermuda and what its services are here on the island. And for a long time, Theresa, we've been talking about the opening of Beacon House. And as most people have seen in the daily and through the various news articles and outlets, that day finally came over the weekend, and we are just thrilled, and we're going to tell you a whole lot about what is going to be going on there, what the new building features. I don't know if you have any history on it, Theresa, but I remember the old Beacon House and walking by, and at that point, you know, people with vision impairment were given sort of simple manufacturing tasks in the building and taught some great things, you know, and supported the best way folks knew how for those with vision loss and sort of what were the standards of the day. And then, of course, progress comes along. And for a long time, you know, the Society for Vision was sort of spinning its wheels a little bit, I think, here, and things got a little bit stagnant. But then, of course, the new vision for Vision Bermuda, Society for the Blind, was it called? That's I think, right. Or something like that.
Society for the Blind.
There you go. Yeah. But the 2.0 version came out as Vision Bermuda. Yes. and here we are today with this lovely new building. It sits on the same site, and I think some of it is the original construction, but it was just built onto and made better. Am I right? The original building was raised, was it?
No, not
I didn't
at all.
think so.
The original building was just completely renovated. Diabetes Association, they had half of it at one point, but it was we're renting half of it, but it was still Vision Bermuda's or Bermuda Society for the
Blinds, yes,
building. And you may have noticed that at one point the roof was off for about 6 months, so that may be where you were thinking it was being added onto.
Sure.
But no, we had a surprise of termites in the wood there.
Yeah, so we had to
that
fix
all
that.
had to come off and be fixed. Yeah. Lovely termites. I love them. So they, so that's how,
you know,
it was being renovated.
It was being renovated, and also the grounds, though, too. Was pretty much just sort of, it was like an old Bermuda home. But now, if you've driven by. Yeah,
before my time as well, the road has been extended, hasn't it? Before my time.
That's right.
And so some of the Vision Bermuda's land was taken there, and we were given a bit more at the other end.
On the other side, It's shifted the property a little bit.
Change. And we've changed. Our front door was on Beacon Street, and it's now on Donald Street.
Sure.
So that's a change too. But it's fantastic to be finally in. I mean, at one point, I've been here almost 3 years,
Sure.
and at one point I was thinking I was never going to see.
It's not going to happen, so
open
Theresa.
All my office.
Yeah.
You know, it's as many people tell me, it's Bermuda and things happen, and you know the main thing is we are now in, and we had our opening, which is just absolutely fantastic.
It was great to see. Yeah, you had the minister, Tanae, doing her thing there, and I'm sure
she's lovely.
She is lovely. She's a therapist herself, I think, in some regard as well. So she has, empathy for the type of work that you're all doing as well. Tanae Ferbert doing her part as the minister, and I believe you had, Bishop Dill. Do your amazing blessing.
He did the most fantastic blessing. I was in awe. It could not have been any nicer.
Yeah,
it was just beautiful.
I think all the gods in all the heavens were smiling down at that point.
Because in the morning we had horrendous rain.
Sure, yeah.
And then I went into Vision Bermuda, to start getting ready, just to prepare my office a bit more. And the sun came out, and it went again as I started putting the rain came back as I started closing the shutters. So
oh gosh.
I got through closing the shutters.
Yes.
So we were so blessed.
Sure.
Really, really blessed with the beautiful weather. Yeah. And
I think we just need to let folks know exactly sort of what the space is now. Of course, we would love people to drive by, stop by, make an appointment, talk to whoever they want to talk to about what Vision Bermuda is doing. But you guys have done wonderful landscaping on the outside there and created lovely areas for rest and relaxation.
Well, also what's very important about it is we've got tactile paving coming from the four-way crossroads, the traffic lights there, up to our front entrance, and from the back of Beacon Street, where people might be dropped off there. We've also got tactile paving coming into the front of our building, and that's really important for cane users. And I love it. It's a fantastic training area. I have to say, the Beacon House couldn't have been placed in a better way. And I'm just going to have to remind myself that not everybody knows it as Beacon House. So the Centre for Vision Bermuda, Beacon House,
there you go,
is placed beautifully, because you've got the crossroads for teaching road crossings, and you've got Victoria Park for trailing and steps, and all of that. It's just fantastic.
The area around there is conducive mobility to some of the therapies that you guys do.
I'm really, really thrilled with it.
So whose idea was the lovely water fountain?
That was Marty, I believe.
Got you.
I might, because that was arranged before my time. So it might be Marty and Dennis Cowell, who was our original architect. It could be that he suggested it. So the idea was, the ambiance as you come in the building, and you can hear, being a blind, you can hear the fountain, knowing that you're inside, and the chairs are then to your right. But of course we teach that as people start to come in who are blind, and to give a very peaceful feeling after you've been out in the hustle of the street there, because the Donald Street can be quite busy, can't it?
It can get pretty hectic actually at that four-way crossing. So the gentle noise of the fountain is a cue to assist clients locating where they are within the building, and helping them to navigate, depending on where they want to go at any given time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So definitely a relaxing environment.
Really, really relaxing. It's lovely.
Yeah,
it's really nice, and it looks lovely too. I love the way.
So is this sort of just outside the main entrance or within the main entrance?
It's within the main reception area.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you've got the admin office to the right of the of. Well, actually, it's to the left if you're looking at the water fountain.
Gotcha.
So anyway,
it's there off the main lobby, which is awesome, and folks hopefully will take the time to check out what a beautiful setting that is. Now, we talked about the grounds and the tactile paving, and for folks who didn't maybe hear our chat on what that's all about, at a lot of the road crossings all throughout town, it's the pebbly look of that pavement with bubble paving. That's what it's called, not pebble, bubble. That again is a way because people with vision impairment learn through the tactile feel through their feet and their hands, of course, where they're trying to get to, and that's a big part of it.
At road crossings.
Throughout the city, you see it seen in quite a few places. Now, of course, Beacon House's primary objective is to create an inclusive environment. Where folks, regardless of their abilities, feel welcome and supported. So do we invite folks to stroll by, check out the grounds, see what's going on?
Absolutely.
Have a seat on some of the lovely benches outside or whatever, and maybe maybe there's a part you can play in building brighter futures for our individuals with visual impairment.
I wasn't even thinking volunteers on this chat, but yes, volunteers.
We always have to mention volunteers now, don't we? Don't we? Now, one of the things we talked about before Beacon House opening was the ability for those with vision impairment to get together and have a bit of a social life. So let's talk a little bit about the space that you have for such opportunities.
Yes, well, if you leave the reception room, you can you go immediately into the social area, and we've got some lovely seating in there. Oh, it's really pretty. Anyway, we've got some seating, and we haven't quite got this bit yet, but we're going to have a tea and coffee station. So people can make themselves a drink, socialise. hopefully start to feel a bit more inclusive and not lonely, and and build friendships.
Sure.
Start to build friendships.
Yeah.
And any of our clients and members are welcome to come in anytime when we're open.
Gotcha.
And come and and enjoy that space.
So they can plan to meet there too, folks, because I know there are a couple of social groups that get together, or chat together sometimes with their mobile devices and do stuff like that.
That's right.
But actually being able to be in the same space, I can imagine, is a whole other way to enjoy your time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you're working on getting the refreshment station as an install there at some point, hopefully in the not too distant future.
Yes, quite quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, we opened on Saturday with our lovely furniture, but we're now moving in because we had stuff in storage, and we didn't want to open with boxes everywhere and things like that.
Absolutely,
So we'll take the next 2 weeks, really. I think it will be 2 weeks anyway, to move in, and then we'll be looking at opening, and so that will be another. I was going to say another show, but I don't mean another show, because we'll be open before Vision Talk next.
But we'll be able to talk about the progress and everything too, and how it's coming along for sure.
And give.
So your rehab office, is that your specific office?
Oh, it is. Oh my!
Because you've been sort of operating out of your back pocket kind of lately, or I'm sure you've had a desk somewhere, right? Like exactly how you managed all of this juggling and keeping all the balls up in the air all this time, Theresa, and still do the service to the clients that you provide. But now
now I have a sparkling office. Yep. It's fantastic. So all my equipment is now based there, instead of going around a bit like a traveller and having it in the back of my car.
As you do.
Yeah. So, but what I'm really interested in, I'm trying not to use the word excited, because at the moment I seem to use it every other sentence.
Well, that's
but
okay.
I really am
thrilled
about creating our low vision clinic.
Okay.
And I understand that it's the first one on Ireland.
I see. And specifically, that is to help folks that need sort of magnification or lighting and glare management. What is eccentric viewing? What do you mean by that?
So eccentric viewing is it's just amazing. It does take practice, though.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have an area in your site that you can see clearer,
Gotcha.
Got some useful vision, and it may be in your peripheral vision, for example, you can teach your peripheral vision to work as well as your central vision did.
I see. Okay.
But it does take practice. So, for example, I'm looking at you straight ahead right now, and my peripheral vision, I can see the door. And what you do is you work on that peripheral vision to see clearer. And with the different techniques that I can teach you, you can start to see clearer. So, for example, I can see the door clearly now, but I actually want to see your face. So I move my head to the side of where your door is in your office here. And I would be able to see you clearer using that peripheral vision, and that's called eccentric viewing. So we look for the best area for you, and there's, like I say, there's different tests and techniques that I do to be able to identify that area and then teach you to use it. Now it's been very difficult to do that in my car. I was going to say the back of my car, but it's been very difficult to do that in somebody's home. Because sometimes I don't always have the space, and I can't get to somebody maybe quick enough. When I say quick enough, what I mean is regular.
Exactly.
Because people really need to be committed. Whereas if I'm doing it in the office, I could have a small group doing eccentric viewing. We could all do the same techniques from their assessment, their special assessment for them, but yet we can still practice their techniques in a small group. So I'm really looking forward to being able to do that. In the UK, I taught a few people how they wanted, one in particular, she was desperate to continue reading, and what she loved to do was read with her husband after lunch. They were retired after lunch in the conservatory, and she could no longer do this. So I started her at like font something like font 64, really large print, and she went down to a font 16 so she could then go and get large print books from the library.
Right.
But that took her dedication, and I used to do resources for her with a book that she had never read, because I didn't want her to
memorize things. Yes, there you go. Yeah,
and yes, and I would do that, and so every couple of days she would get new resources from me, and just practice that. So
I think that's handy for us lay people to know that, because I can remember Phyllis specifically, but certain people's vision loss does only leave them with peripheral vision, and Phyllis would often say hi to somebody and look directly at them, meet them, shake their hand or something, and then she would tell them the reason she's going to turn her head either way. I can't remember which way it was, but you would often see people having a conversation, and Phyllis would be like looking off. We would think she's looking off into the distance, but she's not, you know, and I'm sure that's something, because Phyllis has an S on her chest and is a superwoman, something she managed to get quite good at through necessity.
This is it. So it's not just for reading, and you're right. It's also for just being able to look at people,
to see people and recognize them if you've met them before and all. And so that's something
watch
for
the telly even.
Yeah, for us people to know that someone is not, disregarding you or ignoring you. It could be that their peripheral vision is stronger, and so they're trying to see you more clearly. That's good to know.
Yeah,
so
and
that's
not
what
being
it's called.
Embarrassed about looking away, and letting people know that that's why you're looking away. You know, you're not being rude. You're just using your useful vision. So, yes, it works really well. I love eccentric viewing.
Sure, and so
it doesn't work for everybody, but those it does.
For certain vision loss issues, I think it would.
Absolutely, yeah.
Depending on what exactly is your degree of loss of vision. Yeah. So the amazing rehab office is up and running or about to be once everything's installed, right?
More or less. There's a couple of pieces of larger equipment that I'm waiting to order. But once that's in, it's more or less up and running.
So you'll be able to have your individualized assessments for low vision, and initial assessments explore how rehab specialists can assist you, of course, in overcoming some of your vision-related obstacles. Personalized training sessions depending on the individual, right? And what their specific needs are, where they feel they want to be, whether they're, ready for unaccompanied things and so on and so forth like that. Yeah. Now, I would think the emotional support thing is huge, especially with initial diagnosis, I would think, It
really is huge, yes, and the emotional support. I find that a lot of my clients throughout the years, this isn't just here, often feel that they haven't been able to speak to anybody other than an ophthalmologist that doesn't always have time after their session to then talk to them about how they're feeling.
Got you.
They don't necessarily, my clients don't necessarily want to burden their family. They feel they're burdening their family. I'm sure their families don't feel they're burdening them. And having somebody that they can talk to that they feel understands and has the time to do so can be so beneficial. And that actually is the start of our journey. First of all, emotional support, and then we can actually go on and do the training. Yeah, it's big. And my office also has got lighting and blinds. I've got some different lighting that people can purchase to help them in their own home, and I've got nice blackout blinds and things so that I can work with all stages of people's sight, what works best for them when I'm doing an assessment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All of that in the wonderful rehab specialist office, which has been so long in coming.
And also going on to IT, because I'm just realising this chat goes so fast. It
really does
these days.
Yes.
The IT lab, which is Phyllis's.
Sure, her domain.
And she's going to continue doing her computer skills training. I'm also going to purchase a couple of screen readers, Supernova, ZoomText, and JAWS, which are fantastic screen readers which work well in different ways.
Gotcha.
And depending on, how you want to use it. So if you're wanting to go back to the office and do databases and things like that, then Supernova really is the one to go for. So I want to have a mixture, and the one that Phyllis uses is an NVDA, which we'll still have as well. And also that means that people can they can come along and demonstrate it and see what works for them. But then if they have, when the children, I'm thinking I really want to include our young people within Beacon House. And if they want to come along and use them after school to do homework or, whatever, then, or explore the internet and things, then we welcome that very much.
I know you can't, of course, divulge, any personal details, but what is sort of the number of, I guess, folks under 18 that you think you're dealing with right now with vision loss on the island?
I can't really answer that. I feel quite saddened that I can't answer that. I know that there are 4 young people coming up, that are through school that are
vision impaired.
Yeah, the vision impaired. But I'm just trying to think of age group. Maybe 14 plus.
Gotcha.
And there are some younger ones too, of course. And that's what I'm really passionate about too, is getting that going. I need to know more. And Patty Roberts, the teacher for children who are visually impaired, together we're going to create something special.
Create something for them.
Needs to be something after school, or if not necessarily after school, then in camps, doing some camps and school holidays. I want to have pizza night and games, and they can bring their peers, they can be with others with visual impairment. Just really want to create a community. I think that's really lacking here in Bermuda for our younger ones. And I haven't been able to offer that before
without the space,
which has been part of my frustration at not having Beacon House open. The Centre of Vision Bermuda Beacon House open.
Yes, for sure. So this whole sort of computer lab, and that's going to be fully kitted out for Phyllis to do what she does, and you to do what you are champion all the time is mobile device training, because
absolutely,
the iPhone primarily, but also for Android models, there's so much that folks can do, and you've often talked about that. Are we still wishing to have folks become sort of a confident, right-sided folk to come and help those learn the mobile applications? Because, I can see perhaps you maybe reaching out to the older kids graduating and them having to do contribute some community service. I would think this would be a great thing, because not only are they amazingly efficient on mobile devices, sometimes to the chagrin of their parents and their elders around them, of course, but this is something where all of that enthusiasm and confidence can be put to great use for teaching someone who might need to use it for their vision impairment, and also to understand these screen readers that you're talking about and the applications that are necessary for those, and these are things that we want folks listening now to think about, if that might be something on their agenda.
Please.
And what is it? The email volunteer@visionbermuda.bm. There you go. Don't forget that one. And the resource room. What's that all about?
Info as well. At
Mm-hmm.
visionbermuda.bm as well is also a good one.
So
the resource room, it will have a couple of computers in there as well. And if our clients want to come in and use that at a bit more, because it's a smaller room and it's a bit more personal, a bit more confidential, you can come in and use the computers there.
So people can get some mileage once they've learned some of the additional applications, and come in and still, if they need to ask for assistance, they can sort things out.
Yes, and we're there if something happens that they need support with.
So form completion and online browsing and sort of things like, buying tickets to things now, and everything is online. So I'm sure that'll be a big help to a lot of folk.
And also I'll have some electronic equipment in there that I'll demo, so that they can, clients can see for example, Visualux is the piece of equipment that's going to really support them with their sight loss, or whether they need something bigger like a CCTV.
Gotcha.
And that sort of thing. So we're going to have, and a little handheld one will be coming shortly as well. So there'll be lots of different pieces of equipment. And one piece of equipment that I really need to buy quite quickly is for those who are blind. There's a screen reader that will take a picture. Now, your phone or your iPad will do that, but this is electronic piece of equipment that will take a picture of the document and then read it back to you. Yeah. And read books and things like that. So I really need to get one of those quite quickly. That's on my wish list.
That'll be very
just
helpful
in case
for a lot.
My manager's listening. Hint, hint. We really need to get one of those.
We need to get one of those. Now, there's also an extensive audio library available for members and clients to enjoy. I suppose these are, like the people who listen to books in their cars. It's a similar thing, where the book has been narrated, and that's a great experience for folks.
Well, and because not everybody has, because you can get Audible and things on your smartphone and your tablets and things these days, but not everybody has that.
Sure.
And so you come along and you can choose some CDs and a couple of books and log them out, a bit like a library. Bring them back and get a couple of new books. So
gotcha.
There's an extensive library, because the library, I understand because I wasn't here then, but the library actually gave us their
audiobook library.
They weren't having any more, so we've got all of those. We've got like two. We will be, because they're in huge boxes at the moment. When we've unpacked them, there'll be 2 bookcases full of books to choose from of all different.
And they can listen to at their leisure, or come and enjoy it within the resource room itself, which is great. And a big thing we've talked about often: kitchen training.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So we have a contract. I'm giggling at myself because when I did my speech at opening Beacon House, I talked about the contrast, and I repeated myself just in a different way. So I'm giggling at that because oh my goodness, don't you wish you could take words back sometimes? Anyway, so we have a colour contrast kitchen. We have 2 sides. The kitchen area is quite big, and we have 2 kitchens really within one big room. So we have the gas cooker on one side and then an electric cooker on another, and it has space for wheelchair users.
I see.
So you can put your wheelchair can go underneath it.
And still use the cooktop. Yeah.
We've got they were actually science tables. We've bought a couple of science tables which raise up and down.
Go up or down.
As well.
Yeah, those are great.
Oh, we've got this state of the art sink. Again, I'm giggling, but private joke, perhaps I shouldn't say it. Anyway, which raises up and down for wheelchair users.
Wow.
It's a beautiful sink. And a washing machine, tumble dryer, and a dishwasher, I'm very pleased to say. A dishwasher, all within this kitchen. A beautiful fridge as well, but that's not really but all ways of being able to show, how you can identify things in the fridge, because the fridge will all be set up for
for the training,
for useful ideas.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we'll have training then. We're probably not going to start the group training until around September, but I'll be doing a 6-week program, and every maybe 2 or 3 times a year of cooking skills to regain your independence and confidence in the kitchen. Now, people generally know how to cook. So what I don't do is I'm not teaching somebody how to cook.
You're teaching them.
I'm teaching the skills.
How to use their appliances again.
Yes, and how, and to regain your confidence, because you can still cook on gas or electric if you've lost your sight.
And there's so many stuff that can help you with measuring and things like that too. So it's
scales,
all available.
Talking jugs, talking microwaves.
Yeah, you can have a social life and a conversation with your appliances, which is wonderful. I believe there's been some comedy written about that, actually, where some folks might...
talking tin lids, there's all sorts, and we'll have all of that. We'll have a cupboard which will be set out for how you could set out your cupboard at home.
So you can know where things are. Yeah. So before we wrap up, we have to finish off with you talking about the Beacon Room.
Oh, well, yes. So the Beacon Room is where we're going to hold our social activities. So that's off of the kitchen. It's at the moment it's joining the kitchen. We haven't got our door separating it yet. But anyway, and in there we're going to hold our exercise classes, which will be coming back. They'll definitely be starting again in May. We'll hold some nutrition classes. of our community groups. We'll have luncheons, our iPhone and iPad skills training. Probably that will actually more like be in the IT room.
Gotcha.
But we'll be reintroducing Braille, of course, if anybody wants Braille classes. I'll be doing guiding skills for family and people with sight loss.
Sure.
We'll have daily living workshops, and I think one of the most important things is emotional peer pressure
and
support groups.
Yeah.
Peer pressure is probably the wrong words, but peer support is a word I'm looking for.
Which is necessary.
No pressure,
as we
Beacon
mentioned.
House.
Yeah.
Yes. So all of the, but I'll be able to talk again.
Sure.
In the upcoming months about our different programs and what's going on now. But I would love anybody who's interested in volunteering to please contact me, and also. I've just thought, sorry, I have to say a big thank you to our donors.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they are what has made this possible, of course.
Yes.
And we've had some big donors, and even, somebody that's given up their time for us.
Sure.
It's all donors. And our contractors have been really supportive as well.
Sure.
In, starting and things that have had to go on. So thank you to everybody
who made it possible.
Who's absolutely made this possible. Yes. And our board. And,
I've
got to say thank you to Theresa Hall too, because there's been times that I've been pulling my hair out and she's just been amazing. And she's been amazing at organising, so much.
Everyone should have a Theresa Hall if you're trying to run a non-profit, right?
Getting some donors. I mean,
sure.
Dudley Cottingham has just been fantastic. Amanda Marshall, who had the vision in the first
She's
place.
an amazing lady.
And I know that now I've started naming people, I've going to have forgotten somebody. Please thank you to Joanna, our fantastic volunteer, who supports me immensely. Yes, and
everybody, you know who
Janice,
you are.
Who supports. Oh no, goodness, it's terrible. There's apologies, huge apologies for who I've forgotten, but I'm just noticing that we've run out of time. So.
Yep. It's just about at the end of this. And the thing we want to mention, and perhaps we'll talk about it another time, is the space in there for people to co-host events along with helping with fundraising for Beacon House. So that's going to be, to have spaces within the city, to do things much like, Digicel offered you their space when you needed it. So this will be a time when folks can think about, cooking classes, wine tastings, and other creative endeavor that can come together to support, Beacon House and what it's trying to do and its community initiatives. All of that in a bag of chips. Theresa McMordie, rehab specialist, has finally got Beacon House open, and we're so thrilled for that.
Love my office.
We're thrilled.
Not just because of the way it looks, but because of all it has to offer for my clients.
And this almost 3 years of you trying to push this piece of string up the hill, which, as we know, apart from herding ducks, it's the most impossible thing to do, is push a piece of string somewhere. So thank you so much for your persistence, for your professionalism, for your great attitude, for your very forgiving nature, for all of the frustrations that you've had to deal with, to stick to the wicket, as we like to say, and make life better for just about everyone, every client you've brought in here, folks I've run into on the street, our good friend Amanda and Phyllis and everyone else has said what an amazing job you've done. So thank you, Theresa McMordie, for doing everything. And like she said, to every person, from anyone who pushed a broom or a paintbrush to anyone who laid some block or did some professional landscaping or pulled a wire through that building, or laid a piece of pipe.
The leaves. It doesn't
all
matter.
Of you,
everybody matters.
All of you matter so much, and you are so in the good karma realm now that you have done that. Okay, so thank you very much, Theresa, and we look forward to the next Vision Talk next month, and I'm sure you'll have a lot to say. I think we'd like to continue on how things have progressed since the opening. We might let our listeners know about that. And please, everyone who can be of any assistance of the things we've talked about today, whether it's your young people learning the applications for mobile devices and computers or learning the other electronic side of what Vision Talk does to help those with vision impairment, Theresa needs to hear from you. info@visionbermuda.bm. Okay, guys? Thanks so much, Theresa.
Thank you
awesome
very
chatting
much.
with you.